What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Blake Fontana, and in this video, I'm going to be breaking down how to identify what you need to focus on within your business to propel it to the next level and create predictable growth. So as we dive in today, in the beginning, I'm going to talk a little bit about what to look for and what to avoid when joining different mentorship programs when you're working to grow your online business itself. And then beyond that, I'm going to dive deep into identifying bottlenecks in your business, breaking past those bottlenecks, and creating predictable growth. So again, if you're new here, be sure to click the subscribe button below the video before we begin. And with that said, we will get started. All right, we're now live. What's happened, Freedom Fam? Been a little bit since I've come in here for a live for you guys. So I wanted to hop in today to talk about a few things that I talked about yesterday in an interview in someone else's group, share some takeaways from that, and then talk about the topic of this live. How to always create growth in your business and know where the focus should be to continue to propel to the next level so you're not getting stuck at one spot. So before I dive into that, before we get started today, for those of you joining me here right now, drop a hashtag live below and let me know. And for those of you checking the replay out and watching the replay, drop a hashtag replay below and let me know. And to kick things off here, let's chat a little bit about my interview yesterday and kind of a few points that we talked about. So I was asked some really powerful questions in terms of like really reflecting on my journey in the past and some changes that I would make if I were to do it over again, but also some areas where I see people slip up at early on in their journey. And really kind of reflecting on that process and looking back at it and talking about it yesterday, to me, it really comes down to like there's two types of people that join programs. There's more than two, but there's two core big ones that I see that really hold back people from actually getting those results. These two types of people. Number one, it's the people that go into a program expecting to be handed something, expecting to be handed results, and they enter a program and they say, you know what, I just saw Blake just had a 10K month. If I don't join this program and get to 2,000 earned or my investment back in 30 days, this program doesn't work or it's not worth it. So they enter the program expecting to be handed a result in a short period of time. And then if they don't get that result, they go in, join the program, and they join it in the state of mind of being handed something. They're not taking the action that they need to take. And then a month passes and they start to blame the mentor. They blame the program for not achieving the results they wanted to achieve or that they expected to achieve. That's one toxic way to enter a program. The other way is to enter the program saying, you know what, I'm super excited to join this program. It looks like it has everything I need. I'm going to join in, I'm going to implement, I'm going to take action. And they do so, and a month passes and they're still in the same spot. 2 months passes and they're still in the same spot. 3 months pass and they're still in the same spot. And now they're being exposed to other opportunities to join, but they're telling themselves, you know what, I'm going to continue to stay in this program because this program has everything that I need. I know it does. I just know I need more time. So I'm going to keep implementing, and I'm going to go back and watch the training over and over again. I'm going to watch the second time, implement, see where it takes me from there, because I think it's got everything I need. So they go back and watch the second time, and they keep implementing. 4 months pass, 5 months pass, 6 months pass, and they're still in the same spot. No progression made. But they still fall back on the anchor of the fact that the program that they're in has everything that they need, and they don't need anything else. They just need time. And that's also a toxic way to enter a program and to be in a program. Because the problem with that is you're not giving yourself a timestamp to review and reflect on what you really need. And this goes for both instances that I just talked about. If I look at the correct way to enter a program and the other small subset of people that's a little bit more rare instances itself is entering a program knowing that, hey, I'm joining this program because I need it. I'm going to go in, I'm going to go all in with what I'm learning here, and I'm going to give myself 3 months to implement relentlessly. And after that 3 months is up, I'm going to make sure throughout that time I'm going to track every one of my inputs. And then 3 months later, I'm going to look back and review the process. I'm going to look back and say, okay, where did I get in these 3 months' time? Where am I at right now? How much growth did I make? What do I need to take things to the next level? And how did this program help me with this? So if you've identified that you need this one thing to get to the next level and this program doesn't have it, maybe it's time to consider looking for other programs or other things to support you in taking things to the next level, which is okay. It's perfect. Be open to that. But don't be the one that says, you know what, I have everything I need here. When in reality, you really haven't looked and reflected in the process and said, where are things falling up at? Where are things slipping up at? And that's what we're going to talk about more today. So it's really key to enter any mentorship or any coaching or any training program with the right state of mind. Because if you don't, you're setting yourself up for quick failure from the start and you're not going to get the most out of it. The other thing that's really key is making sure that you align with whatever it is that you're joining. If you're staying in a program and telling yourself this has everything that I need, but in reality, maybe it just doesn't align with you. Maybe the way the information is being taught, maybe the mentor itself, maybe the support isn't quite as much as you need, but you're falling back on that to make yourself feel secure and feel safe and to avoid investing again. When in reality, if you had someone that came from a different angle that you aligned with more, that you trusted more, you could have a completely dramatically different result. So a few things to think about there when joining any sort of mentorship program along your journey online. I could talk all day about lessons learned throughout my journey in going from 0 to 6-figure plus business, but I'm going to leave it at that for today. I'm going to dive a little bit more into the topic about kind of identifying bottlenecks and creating that growth in your business. For those of you that want me to do another live all about kind of lessons learned and how I would do things over again if I were to start from scratch, would love to put that together for you guys or do a training on that for you guys. Just let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see that. For now, we're going to stay on track with what we just talked about, and that is being aware of the inputs that you're putting in your business so you can actually look back and make an educated decision on what you need to take things to the next level. So I want to make things as simple as possible here. And I'm actually going to share something a little bit more complex in a second, but to start, let's talk about the simplicity behind it. If you look at the process within your business, whether you're running paid ads, whether you're doing organic, whatever it is that you're doing, however you're building your audience, whatever traffic sources you're using, you're operating in 3 core phases. You have the awareness phase, the phase where you're building an audience, generating awareness around your brand, around your offer, and starting to create buzz to get people to know who you are and what you're all about. You then have the lead generation phase. Once you have awareness built up, you have people that know you, start to like you, start to trust you. Now you can take things to the next step and focus on, okay, how can we generate leads from off this awareness to fuel our business and to create leads for our business? That's phase number 2, lead generation phase. And then off of that lead generation phase, you have sales opportunity and sales phase, actually turning those leads into sales opportunities itself. So this is a big thing to really be aware of within your process. For example, if you get done with a 3-month program and you have no clue on what element deserves the focus, the first thing you should fall back on is ask yourself, okay, do I need to focus on awareness right now? Do I need to focus on lead generation right now? Or do I need to focus on sales right now? Looking at awareness, is my audience, if you're using organic, is my friends list built up? Do I have a solid audience in place? Is my audience built around the offer that I'm selling? Is it aligned with the right people? Do I have a list of people that know me and like me and trust me? If the answer is no, then that's the focus. If the answer is yes, you have all of that and it's all in place really well, but you're not generating leads, that means the focus should be on phase 2. How can I get more leads into my business? So I have the awareness in place. I got people that know me and like me and trust me, but I'm still struggling to generate leads. So that's the bottleneck that deserves the focus. Easiest way to start repairing that bottleneck and starting to propel your business to the next level is, so once you identify that, and let's say just like we talked about, it's lead generation that you're dealing with that's the problem because you have that awareness in place. Now it's time to brain dump. Write out as many ideas as you can. If you're watching this live right now and you feel this aligns with you, maybe you feel like you have awareness in place and you're struggling with lead generation, pull out a piece of pen and paper right now and start to write down some ideas on how you could start to generate more leads. If it's vice versa, if you don't have an audience built up quite yet or you're working on it, start to brain dump some ideas on how you could grow your audience faster. Maybe it's posting in target groups. Maybe it's adding more friends. Whatever it may be, start to write down some ideas. We're going to focus on the lead generation topic. So let's go through some examples, some ideas. Maybe it is put out a 2-step post. Maybe it is putting out a mission post. Maybe it is creating a funnel, creating a lead magnet, running paid ads for lead generation. The list goes on. Bunch of different ways that you can deploy, or ideas that you can deploy to generate ads and repair that bottleneck. Now, once you have that list of ideas mapped out and you brain dump them out, look at that list and ask yourself, what is the most high impact of this list and the easiest to do? What's going to make the biggest difference and is the easiest for me to implement? Because if you've never built a funnel before, and maybe one of your ideas on there is launch a lead magnet within a funnel, that's not high impact and easy for you to do. It could be beneficial, but it's going to take more effort for you to implement it and actually get results from it. So hold back on that, because your goal right now is to work to build momentum and repair this bottleneck as quickly as possible. So this is where you really want to ask yourself, what is the most high impact and easiest thing that I can deploy to repair this bottleneck in my business? Next up, after you deploy that, you start getting some results from it, start to repair that process a little bit more. Then you can start taking your next action items on your list and say, what's high impact that still I think will have a really big impact on this particular problem, but it's not as easy for me to implement. Maybe it's creating a lead magnet. Maybe it's creating a PDF, whatever it may be, like we talked about. Add that to queue to do later on. The key here is to focus on something that's going to generate you a quick win. It's going to help you build momentum, start to repair that bottleneck, and get things moving. And now you have a list of other ideas that you can implement along the lines. So think about this within your process right now. If you were to look at your business right now, talking about these 3 areas: awareness, lead generation, sales opportunity. Awareness being audience built up, like I just said. You have a solid friends list. It's filled with qualified people within your target persona that align with your offer. If you have that in place, but you're not generating leads, let me know in the comments below that your bottleneck is lead generation. If it's the opposite, like we talked about before, where you're just getting started with your audience, growing your audience, trying to decipher who the right people are to build that audience around and really build it in general, let me know below that your bottleneck is awareness. And lastly, if you have solid awareness in place and you're generating leads consistently, but you're just not converting them into sales opportunities and sales, let me know in the comments below if you feel that your bottleneck is sales. And now let's take things a little step further with that exercise in place, with what we talked about with that. Each of you have an assignment for watching this live today. Even though this is a free training, I'd love to see each of you get the most out of this free training as much as possible. So take what I just said there, write out what you think your bottleneck is, and today start to write out some ways that you can start to repair that bottleneck, and ask yourself what's going to be the most high impact thing that you can do and the easiest for you to do. Next up, let's take things a little bit more to an advanced level. So this is something that I give my students in my coaching program. And let me share my screen here so you can see it. Just move this over. So if we look at this, it probably looks like a lot's going on. I'm going to break it down for you pretty simple here. If we look at this, this is mainly geared towards Facebook organic in particular. So let's say each of you watching this live right now, your goal is to hit 100K in your business. Now, from here, we're going to start to break down key metrics that your inputs that you're putting into your business and where you're currently at right now. So the key with this is to have some inputs that you've tracked over a month's worth of time to be able to look back and say, okay, now that I've implemented for a month, now that I've tracked my inputs, now I can actually measure my inputs and fix what's happening to continue to create growth. So looking back at your numbers and your inputs, let's say you started 300 conversations last month. And if we break that down It's basically 10 conversations a day. So you started 300 conversations on Facebook last month. And I would say for most of you using Facebook Organic now, not getting the results you want, you're probably doing more than this. We're actually going to say 400, sometimes 500, 600, 700 for some people, which is insane. So 400 a month, aka roughly 13 a day. Now, this is a little bit more of a difficult thing to track, but you can still estimate roughly how many people that you're reaching out to are actually responding to you. So are you getting people that ghost you on every outreach message that you send, or are you getting about a 50-50 response rate? Maybe the majority of people that you're reaching out to usually do respond. So let's say it's 75%, just like we have it here. So when we look at this now, we're reaching out to 400 people every month. Behind this, we're getting 250 people to respond to us and engage in a conversation. So we're having an engaged conversation with 250 people, or at least getting a response from 250 people. Now, the goal behind all of this within the sales process, for some of you, it's booking calls. For those of you that don't like booking calls, it's just generating a sales opportunity. I teach both ways, and I can show you how to sell both ways without hopping on a sales call and with hopping on a sales call. In this particular example, we're going to make it easy, and we're going to talk about booking calls because I find that to be one of the easier ways to do it and connect with people. So, again, you're having an engaged conversation with 250 people. Let's say last month you booked a total of 5 calls. Actually, I need to go back on this. Last month you booked a total of 5 calls. Of those 5 calls that you booked, you had 90% of those people show up. So in this instance, we'll actually just make it easy. Everyone that booked a call with you showed up. So you actually took 5 sales calls. You spoke to 5 people, everyone that's scheduled showed up to the call, and you had that call with them. Now, of those 5 people that actually attended that call and you spoke to them and you identified how you could support them, where they're struggling at, what they need to really move things to the next level, and you presented an offer to them. So you know what, this is what I think would be most helpful to you to fix what's going on and get you moving in the right direction. And you presented that offer to 90 people, or 90% of people, and again, we'll make this easy and say 100%. You presented that offer to 5 total people. And just for the sake of example in this, let's say you have an average closing rate of 20%. So with these numbers in mind, with knowing your process and knowing exactly where everything's at, you know that off of this, you're going to close 9 times out of 10, 1 sale. You'll walk into 1 sales opportunity just by giving yourself 5 calls and presenting those 5 offers on those calls. So this is with the numbers in mind. Whatever it is that you guys are selling, you can plug this in here in this sheet. But let's say you're selling something that's $1,250 and $500 at 3 payments. This doesn't really matter too much right now. We're just going to mainly focus on these core numbers. So looking at these core numbers right now, where is the bottleneck in the process? First and foremost, before we drill into the sheet, the first exercise is asking yourself, okay, awareness, lead generation, sales opportunity. Do I have awareness in place? If that's in place, now that I look at this data, I'm going to ask myself, okay, where's the bottleneck here? What could I change that would lead to the biggest growth in the shortest amount of time? What's the most high impact thing that I could do that's going to make the biggest difference? Let me know in the comments below what you think it is. And I will tell you the answer right now. The answer to this question is right here. This is the bottleneck. You're not getting enough opportunities. You're not offering enough calls. This is the majority of people's problems. Outside of really speaking with the wrong people and the wrong audience and low quality prospects, they're just not putting out enough offers out there. They're not offering calls. They're not inviting people to have calls. They're not presenting their offer in Messenger enough. And they're not giving themselves enough opportunities to actually land a sale. You'd be shocked at even seeing what growth you could make, even if you just simply started to ask the question more. offer calls more, present your offer more. If you simply did that alone and made a goal to present more offers every single day, I guarantee you'd have better results in the back end from it. So if we look at this and we say, you know what, my bottleneck in my business right now is sales calls booked or offers in general, offering people to speak with me, this is what I need to focus on. You're 100% right. If you first just give yourself more opportunities here, before you focus on improving your sales skills, before you worry about anything else in the process, just simply work on raising this one aspect of your business. And you can do that by focusing on just making those offers every single day more. Let's see how this changes. So if you take this percentage from 2% to, let's say, a measly 5%, you raise it by 3%. Now look. Now, of those 250 conversations that you had, you now have 13 calls booked. You presented an offer to all 13 of those people, and now, even without even changing your closing skills, you just landed 3 high-ticket sales. Just like that. Just by fixing that one thing. And that's the power of being able to identify what deserves the focus in your business is going to make the biggest difference. By making that one simple tweak, you can now achieve that growth that you're looking to achieve and start to build some momentum off of it and land 2 more sales next month just by focusing on that one fix. This is what a lot of people are missing out on. So for those of you watching this live, before I wrap things up here and talk a little bit further on it, if you want to learn about this process for your own numbers, for your own business right now, you want to learn how this can be implemented so you know exactly what bottlenecks that you're dealing with and where the focus should be, comment bottleneck below. And myself or my team will send you some more info on how we can help you get to the bottom of that and really realize what the focus should be on. Because otherwise you end up spending months of time focusing on the wrong things, spinning your wheels. This is where you can avoid wheel spinning, narrow your focus to what's going to make the biggest difference, and then make that happen. Because at the end of the day, for each and every one of you in this group watching this video, I want this number to be as low for you as it can possibly be. You should not be having to send 400, 300, 500 DMs out every single month. If you are, then your awareness it may or may not be in place, but your lead generation is definitely not in place. Your content is not fueling enough of the process for you, and it's relying on you to constantly be proactive and reach out to a bunch of new people every single day, and that's a recipe for burnout. So with these numbers stand as they are now, if you raise this booking percentage to 5%, if this is you, let's say, for example, if you want to hit 100K a year, if you sent out roughly 36 DMs a day, you would get to 100K in that year, which is still way too much. Shouldn't take that much. And let's look at the flip side. A lot of people are at like this 1% rate, and now look at this. I don't know about you, but I don't want to send 180 DMs a day to get to 100K a year. It sure as hell is not worth it. That's a lot of spending time in the DMs, reaching out to cold people, driving yourself crazy all day long. But you don't see this on the surface. Most people just see, you know what, I'm just building skills. I need to just continue to go through this program, implement, go back and circle back what I'm learning, and eventually I'll get to where I want to go. But they're not realizing that they're at the point where they really need to send out 180 DMs a day to make any difference because they're not aware of what the bottlenecks are in their business. Whereas if you flip this and let's say you leave this at 300 outreach, 75% response rate, and a 10% booking ratio, now things start to become more realistic. Now you only need to send 18 DMs a day and you hit your goal of 100K. This, guys, is how you can create predictable growth in your business. You don't need this fancy sheet to do it. This just makes things super, super crystal clear and easy. But you do need to be able to ask yourself, okay, if you're in a program right now or if you're not in a program right now, based on where I'm at, what should I put my focus on? Is it awareness? Is it lead generation? Is it sales and sales opportunities? And what can I deploy or implement within my process right now to start getting that process moving, repairing that bottleneck, and ultimately creating the next level of growth? Because every new level you guys hit, whether you're at 0, and you just achieved your first 5K month, you're going to hit a new layer of bottlenecks or a new roadblock that you have to break past to get to 10K. Once you get to 10K, there's new problems that you have to deal with. Every new height that you get to brings new bottlenecks or problems that you have to learn how to break past in order to see that next level of growth. So hopefully this helps make that a little bit more clear for you guys. And hopefully you all enjoyed this live training today itself. Again, remember, if you want to have myself, my team, take a look at this process for you with what you're implementing within your business so you're not guessing on what needs to be focused on and what doesn't, just comment bottlenecks below, and myself or someone on my team will reach out. And outside of that, as you guys may have seen, if you're subscribed to my emails, I'm sending out more and more emails. I want to provide even more value to you guys within emails itself. So if you aren't subscribed to that, let me know in the comments below. If you want to be subscribed, comment VIP. You'll be getting an update from me tomorrow. I'm releasing a new YouTube video tomorrow. More on messenger training. That's kind of what I've been providing value on for you guys this week. Came out with a messenger training for you a couple of days ago. Now I'm going to go a little bit more in depth on how to actually move a conversation from prospect to lead to sale. And this video in particular will be on my YouTube channel, so I will be sure to let you guys know tomorrow when that drops, so you all can check it out. So that's a wrap for today. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. Hopefully you got value from this training. If you did get value, one last comment, let me know in the comments below. Drop a hashtag value below and let me know. And I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.